Knudsen,
What's going on, Tursky?
this is Two Guys Talking Golf.
It is. And it is
Masters Week. baby.
Masters Week.
We're both festive. We both got the Masters hats on. Have you been wearing it all day?
I've been wearing something Masters basically the past 2 days. I didn't even do anything on camera or anything like that. It was just I just bust out. I think I have 3 Masters hats, so I kind of put them in rotation from I think Tuesday.
So it wasn't just you're not just Hollywooding it. You've been festive. I actually have
the rope hat. Yeah, I think that's so solid.
I know.
It's such a solid hat.
I probably should have worn that one, I guess, but
I've got a Callaway Master staff bag and a couple of the head covers from 2013 on the other side of this desk.
What was their custom theme? Well, obviously the Masters, but what they have going on?
That was the one where they just had the single azalea or little flower. So it was all green, green, yellow, and white, and then it just had the single flower on certain parts. So it wasn't crazy. It was one of my favorite bags they did. So
very classy.
I snagged it up. Yeah,
very classy.
But, hey,
all right. Before we get into the Tiger Woods podcast, I understand we have a word from our sponsors.
We do, and that sponsor today, hey, it's Fujikura. And with Ventus, which is the #1 graphite wood shaft model on the PGA Tour, and Fuji is the #1 wood shaft brand. So if you haven't noticed, brand new minted world #1, Scottie Scheffler is won playing Ventus. I think all 3 times he's won playing Ventus. And Ventus wood and hybrid shafts are available in a wide range of profiles for any golfer at any skill level. Check out FujiKuraGolf.com for more details and to find a local club fitter to get fit for Ventus.
Great ad read there. In all seriousness, Ventus is a very popular shaft out there.
It is, and I hate plugging my other show, but had a little Fujikura guest on this week on the old Club Junkie podcast. So,
did you pay for that? Did you pay for that ad right there?
No, I'm in debt for putting that one out here right now.
I'm gonna charge you for the plugs on the other show.
I'll send you that $1.50. I'll get it in the mail right now.
All right, hit me up on Venmo.
That's right.
All right, so let's stop wasting time here. Let's get right to it.
Yep.
Tiger Woods is playing in the 2022 Masters currently. I guess we shouldn't just recap the whole round or whatever, because obviously everyone's watched it and they're going to watch live from the Masters and they're going to see the highlights a million times. But what were some of your takeaways as he sits 1 under and actually in pretty good position?
Honestly, I thought he played. I don't want to say he played great, but I thought he got around the course and he played well. He made up for a lot of kind of poor shots with some really good recovery shots. And I felt kind of near the end of the round, I don't know if he got tired or what, but the driver started going way left, but he made again some great recovery shots, and he hit some just really solid iron shots. So overall, I'm really impressed with how he played. I really am. Like I said, I'm not blown away. Oh my God, he played his A game. He was perfect today. But it was just impressive to see him hit some really good shots, and when he did hit it poorly, to hit some really, really good recovery shots to get him back into play and save pars. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, let's not get it twisted. He didn't hit the ball very well off the tee,
no.
especially late with the driver.
Yeah,
he missed a lot of greens. He was scrambling his butt off out there. So it kind of was what you'd expect from a Tiger Woods round. Didn't hit the driver all that great, but scrambled. He putted really well. He chipped the ball really well, and I think he stayed super mentally tough. I think the round maybe could have got away from him a little bit. He made a couple mental errors. I think he even alluded to that in his post game interview. He was like, "Yeah, I just lost focus on 8." He had one of the worst pitch shots I'd ever seen him hit on that par 5. But other than that, pretty cool to see Tiger playing wearing the azalea pink.
Oh, that shirt's horrible.
Love the outfit. we will talk about his shoes later on in the show. We won't get to that just yet. I know we have some hot takes on that, and I think you have a concept shoe. I think you got a prototype. Maybe you want to pitch to FootJoy.
Yeah, I got $1 million idea. I'll say this too. Like, so I was watching all day. I basically watched Feature Group, which was Tigers, because I mean, come on, how do you not?
Yeah.
So I just streamed that all day. So while I worked, I just had that on. And the other thing I will say, like, I love watching Tiger. Like you said, everything about it. I mean, everybody's probably seen it, whatever. So we don't need to analyze it. I do have to say, I'm a big fan of Colt Knost being an announcer.
Yeah.
I thought he was really, really good.
He's awesome.
He was kind of like that guy who was like, yep, that's, when something was bad, he'd be like, yeah, he's not going to be happy with that, da-da-da. But he wasn't, like, abusive to the player. It's just like, man, that's a bad shot. He's not going to like that, da-da-da. And then when some guys hit some impressive shots, like, you could just tell how impressed he was with some of the shots. Like Tiger's little wedge shot on 7 when he came up short.
Yeah.
Right in front of that bunker. And he was like, God, he's like, I just don't know if he's going to be able to spin it enough, da-da-da-da. And then he, like, hits it to, like, 6 inches. And he was just like, wow, like, that is so... But you could tell, like, his appreciation for those type of shots, because he's been there. Like, he's... I don't know what his status is at the moment, but, I mean, the guy's played on tour. But I really enjoyed him as an analyst, and I would love to have more tournaments with him on the mic.
I don't think he's playing golf anymore. I think he's full-time announcing, and he does a great job. I mean,
dude, he was so good.
He's going to be the new go-to guy. Like, Johnny Miller would kind of just flame people.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, calm down. Like, he was super informed, but, Colt was one of the best amateurs, like, ever. I know his PGA Tour career probably didn't go exactly like how he wanted to, but he was still out there. And all the guys love him. So he gets great insight from, like, what's actually going on, and he knows the courses. He knows what it's like to be out there on the PGA Tour, and he's just an entertaining dude. So keep giving him gigs.
Seriously. And the other thing, too, is, like, I love, like, he didn't dumb it down too much. When he started talking about, like, a little pitch shot or any shot that he talked about, like, he would kind of get into some of the gritty details about, like, what that person's thinking or what they need to deal with or whatever. And it was just like, I thought it was just really good. I loved it. I hope that he announces more and more, because I would definitely watch more broadcasts with him on the mic for sure.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
So, but -1. You got to give Tiger. I mean, he hasn't won it. No, let's not hand him the green jacket yet. But I tell you what, he is. He's in the thick of it, man. I mean, he's in a good spot.
He didn't win, but it was a win.
100%.
Him breaking par, just really getting around the course, like, not withdrawing.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have gone differently.
I mean, had his putter, had he not chipped and putted as well as he did today, that -1 could have easily been a +3, +4. Easy.
Extremely impressive, just the way he battled. And it's just funny, like, leading up to the event, you hear people, it's like, oh, he's hitting it great. Oh, he's hitting it great. It's like, yeah, you're not going to say that Tiger's hitting it bad. So, like, you're probably not keeping it real, but obviously the case is that he's still Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
in 2022, after the car accident, nearly having his leg amputated, we were gifted Tiger Woods at the Masters this year.
Here's the one question about that. So, watching, like, I've watched all week, like, anything that, like, streaming and on the range, I've watched, live from the Masters. I mean, you name it, like, I've just been watching. And it was really interesting because early in the week, everybody said, like, wow, he's moving so well and he's walking great and da-da-da. And to me, like, I can definitely tell that he's got a stiffer walk with just a hair of a limp to it, whatever.
Yeah.
And I know, like, he's even said, like, that leg will never be the same, whatever. But it was weird for the announcers to be like, look at how, he's moving so great. Like nothing ever happened. And I'm like, are we not going to address the fact that he is walking different?
I mean, he's walking at least 2 miles per hour slower. He's ginger, if not limping.
Yeah,
it's like, let's not beat around the bush here.
I mean, and trust me,
let's at least keep it real.
I'm not saying in a bad thing. Like, that may just be his, his movement from now on. But let's just say, like, it's not like a fluid running type thing. Like, it didn't affect him today, but I mean, it was there. I just had to say it.
He also seemed to play, like, a bit more conservative even than usual. Like, he was taking a lot of woods off the tees. He hit iron off 3. And I know it's common for him to, like, play a little bit more conservative, but I don't know. I thought maybe he would have kind of attacked a little bit more. I mean, he's laying back like really far. It just puts a lot of pressure on his iron game. Obviously, he's like the best iron player ever, so play to your strengths. But it just surprised me. I wonder if he's going to change up that strategy, or maybe it was just like certain pin locations. Maybe he didn't want to attack. Like on 2, I think he hit fairway wood off the second hole. That kind of surprised me. It's like you kind of want to get it down there, but maybe he was just laying short of the bunker. He knew he was going to kind of lay up to the right and then have an angle at that pin. So maybe it was like a pin position thing. But
yeah, I mean, that or the other thought is like, I mean, he isn't bringing the same amount of firepower that he did before he got hurt. I mean, his ball speed's like the low 170s, which is still, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's still hammering the ball. But I mean, what is it? Before he was in that accident, he was ripping it. And I wonder if he just doesn't have that confidence of like, I'm going to really take this thing down there. Or, you know, like you said, he chipped and putted early. The long game is kind of the thing he probably practiced the least. Maybe he just didn't have the confidence in the driver. Because he even said in his after round that his warm-up was like brutal. He's like, I did terrible in my warm-up.
I know.
So maybe he just went in there like, hey, you know what? Like, let's not rely on the driver. Let's rely on the iron game. Let's just get it out there and play, have some good angles in. And if we'll chip it and putt it, get it around, and we'll have a good day. And he did.
That's probably exactly what happened, actually. He probably wasn't feeling all the way comfortable with, like, the long game, and he was like, I just got to keep it in front of me. Because I know my iron, wedge, and putting is it's going to carry me.
For sure.
Obviously, he put in a lot of hard work over that time. Like, he looked pretty sharp. I mean, he had, like, that one really bad chip on 8.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was rough.
That looked like me out there or something like that. And it didn't even look like he chunked it. It was just like he just completely misread how far it was, I think.
Yeah, I think he said something about like he wanted to hit it a little harder because of something, and he misjudged it totally, and it flew way longer than he thought. But again, I mean, that's a guy who hasn't played a tournament round in 500 plus days. I mean, like a real tournament round. That's not too bad to only have a couple blemishes like that throughout your day. You know, I think you got to walk away pretty damn happy.
But to your point about, I mean, he has lost like a touch of speed. You know, I know they're saying he's still bringing it, and he is, like all things considered. But you know, maybe a little bit of loss of speed. But let's remember he's had like 4 back surgeries on top of the surgically repaired right leg, and he's also getting older. Yeah, I mean, let's not forget.
And the knees. I mean, you think of between knees, back, and now leg.
Knees, Achilles, neck, wrist. Like he's had every ailment possible.
And he's 46. I mean,
he's getting up there, man.
I mean, as a person who is over the age of 40, I can tell you that swinging fast does not feel as easy as it once did 10 years ago.
Yeah, you're old, man.
I'm getting there. It's rough. It's rough.
All right, so we're through one round. Do you have a pick?
Oh,
who's
for a winner?
jumping? Yeah, who's jumping out on the leaderboard? I mean, who's going to get it done aside from Tiger, of course?
You know, the funny is, I guess since we're looking now a round into it, I really like what Cam Smith's doing. I know he ended the round.
Don't take my pick.
The last 2 holes were rough. I know he didn't end it the way he wanted, but I think a guy like him is going to take that bad kind of end, and he's going to like use that as some fire to go out and play. And you know, you can't argue with what the guy's done this year. He's played really well, so I got to go Cam Smith.
Yeah, you sandwiched the round with 2 doubles.
Yeah, and he started with a double, got all the way down to 6 under, and then doubled 18.
God, I was going to pick Cam Smith. I'm not going to lie to you, but the other person jumping out, I'll try to keep it entertaining here. I'll go with Scottie Scheffler.
Dude, I mean,
he's won what? He's won 3 times this year.
Yeah, number 1 in the world.
It was kind of one of those things where I wanted to see how like his first round went, to see if like he was going to carry that momentum. You know, when the first major of the year hits, sometimes you put a little bit of extra pressure on yourself, especially when you're playing really well, and it can be kind of disappointing. But he shot like the perfect number, 3 under. He's a little bit back. He'll be really focused, and now he's comfortable and confident. So I'll take Scotty.
Yeah. No, I mean, the thing I was impressed with Scottie is that, man, he had a couple holes where he had like second shots and stuff like that he just didn't hit well, and he didn't drive it amazing, but he got up and down from some nasty places and got some pars that you were just like, man, like he'll be lucky to get bogey here. Like 11, when he flared it so far right, and it was like, and that pin's all the way left near the water.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh God, like what are you going to do here? And he hit it to like 8 feet, made the putt, walked away, and you're just like, dude, if he's, if he can get himself out of those jams, he's got a really good shot to win it.
So I just wanted to list off a couple people that have probably played themselves out of it. One of these guys is gonna win, and you're gonna clip it out, put it on Instagram, and be like, "This was the worst call ever by Tursky." But Bryson DeChambeau, 4 over par, very disappointing.
Not gonna make it.
Here we go. Brooks Koepka, 3 over. I don't think that's necessarily out of it, but you're pretty far back there. It's not the start you're really looking for. Justin Thomas, 4 over. Bernhard Langer, sneaky 4 over. Like, he's usually 4 under right now, and then top 15.
Yeah. I do have to say that the Justin Thomas one's a bummer because, I mean...
Such a bummer.
He is always that guy that every Masters, everybody's picking. And everybody loves him. Everybody wants him to win. Everybody wants to see him put on a green jacket. And it seems like he just struggles at Augusta.
Which is weird. Which is weird because he's got Tiger giving him all the insight. Did you see that? You see that with John Rahm? He was like, "Yeah, I asked Tiger, and he won't talk to me. He only talks to GT." He was salty. He was legitimately salty.
100% salty. I mean, everybody kind of laughed at it, like, no, like, dude, Rahm, I think was pissed.
He was actually pissed. Like, I want someone to ask Tiger about it. He's probably like, screw John Rahm.
Yeah,
I'm not giving him any tips. I don't know that dude.
Yeah, when I saw Rahm's press conference and I watched that, I was like, ooh, I'm like, that's not as good-hearted as you think it is.
No, he's not making a joke. Like, people were laughing.
And
like, this dude's about to snap. Like, he hates Tiger now.
He's like, seriously, yeah, he's got like a vendetta. And I'll say the guy who I will bet every dollar I ever own on not winning, Paul Casey.
Withdrew.
Withdrew.
He's been having like pretty bad back issues.
I know.
Like he played the match play 2 days in a row, and he withdrew on like the second tee both days, I think.
Yeah.
Like he withdrew the first day. You thought maybe he was going to withdraw from the tournament. Then I think he tried to tee it up again, and then he called it off.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who also is not going to win.
What's that?
I'll tell you who also is not going to win. Matthew Wolff.
No.
81.
And a broken club.
Oh. Did he break a club? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think it was like the 4th or 5th hole, because he started off like double, bogey, and then he hit like a bad shot into the green on 4 or 5, and just like kind of like had the club down, and then he just like leaned on it, and it just snapped.
That's the classic Rory.
Yeah, I don't know what iron it was, but it is no longer usable.
All right, Knudsen. So, unfortunately, I did not go to the Masters. So, I don't have any great insight on changes guys were making. I do know DJ put in a stealth hybrid.
Yep.
That they say he flies the exact same distance as his 3-iron, which is 245. Casual.
Just a casual 245.
Super casual. And then I believe that you got on Getty Images and you saw a little change in young Victor's bag.
Yeah, Victor. Is it Hovland? Victor Hovland is.
I switch it up each time because I'm not sure. So I'll say Hovland and then I'll say Hovland. I think it's Hovland, but
yeah, he had a Callaway Jaws wedge in the bag that he was messing around with, or I'm pretty sure went in the bag. But yeah, he had a Callaway wedge, which I think we both were talking. I think it was he had a Vokey previously because he'd had.
I believe different.
So. But yeah, looks like he put a Jaws MD5 in the bag for this week.
I do wonder if that had anything to do with like a certain bounce or soul grind that he was searching for, which would be, I guess, kind of weird because Vokey has so many options, and if you can't get exactly what you're looking for, Aaron Dill will just grind you one up.
Yeah, right on the truck. Here you go.
Yeah. But Roger Cleveland knows what he's doing over there.
Yeah, he's designed a wedge or two in his lifetime.
Yeah, he's in good hands. So without any like crazy insider insight, I think we wanted to do something a little bit different, kind of a David Letterman style top 10 list. But this will be the top 10 gear stories of the year.
Yep.
I think, did we extend it out to 2021-22 season?
Yeah, I think
or are we going with just the year?
No, I think we've kind of looked at it as like the PGA Tour year, which takes a part of the end of 2021 and tosses it in there because, well, it's interesting because there's a lot of big stories. Like, I mean, if you went through and just said the launch, the launch pieces of the Stealth, the Rogue ST, the LTDX, just the brand new clubs, those are huge stories. But again, we could just
those don't count.
We could put all those in there and say, okay, well, here are the top stories. I mean, but let's get a little more interesting than that is what we kind of decided.
I like it.
Yeah.
So I have the top 10 list here. I do have it ordered.
Ooh, okay. I don't
want to offend anyone here, but
whatever, man.
you got to do it.
This is TG2. We don't take any prisoners.
Listen, it's just two guys talking golf.
That's right.
We're just talking golf. Not that big of a deal.
No.
We're just talking golf. Okay, so do you want me to just announce each of our topics? I mean, we worked on them together. Maybe I'll just set up. I'll say the story, and then you kind of give your thoughts, and then I'll clean it up with my take.
That sounds good. I'm good with that.
All right, cool. So starting off, we have Paul Casey claps back. So, just to recap the story just a little bit, Paul Casey has basically been playing the same GSS Scottie Cameron putter his entire career.
Yep.
This year, he comes in. It used to have a flat sole. Now it has a little weight in the heel. And we took some photos of it, put it up in the forums, and all the forum guys were saying that it wasn't to add weight. It was to actually reduce weight and make the heel lighter. Not the case.
No.
When I asked Paul Casey about it, he called him out immediately. He said they have no idea what they're talking about.
Oh, it was amazing because I've seen so many of those type items happen where somebody has a club, they show it off, and everyone jumps to some conclusion of what the change is, why the change is that way, whatever. But nobody actually goes and talks to Paul Casey about it. They just assume,
right,
here's this new putter, there's something different about it, and here's why. But that why is just made up in their own mind. And it was absolutely hilarious for him to just break down everybody and be like, no, actually, here's what it was. It's actually 6 grams heavier, the new alignment dot. I mean, everything about it, he just broke down, here's all the changes we made, and here's why, because this is what I was working with my putting stroke. And I have to believe that even world-renowned experts like ourselves, and experts, quote-unquote,
and world-renowned, quote-unquote.
Yeah, that's true. have probably done something similar, or we've kind of got on our show and talked about something like that, having maybe just a little bit of info, but it's not right. But it was just awesome that Paul Casey was willing to just basically be like, yo, you guys are way off, and take the time to basically refute it all, which was amazing. I think that's just awesome.
Yeah, so he did clear it up. He did add 6 grams of weight. It was a weight plug that they put in the bottom of the Scottie Cameron, and it was basically to kind of speed up the rotation.
Yeah.
He was having trouble. The blade was kind of closed relative to his path, and he was kind of looking to get that toe releasing a little bit faster, which it works the same, and this was a point that he made. It's like putting lead tape on the heel of your driver.
Yeah.
That's going to help it draw. So that's something for the AMs to keep in mind. All the slicers out there, if you throw a little lead tape on the heel of your driver, you might be able to get that toe working a little bit quicker.
That's right.
I just thought it was great. You know, you so rarely get people clearing things up and directly responding, and it was just funny that he had seen the comments. And it's like when I approached him and asked him about the putter, it was like he was waiting. He was just waiting to respond to these guys in the forums. It was so funny. He was just fired up to talk about it, and you got to love that.
That's awesome.
So that's 10.
All right. I love it. I love 10.
You ready?
Great.
You ready for 9? And this was kind of your
my baby.
Your baby. High-lofted fairways, just in general. Just a lot of 5, 7, even 9 woods we see every now and then.
Yeah.
What do you got for us, Nuts?
I mean, it is. I think it's such an interesting thing because it seems like, you know, middle to end of last year and now into this year, you know, before that time, everyone was talking about hybrids and driving irons at the top end of the bag. You know, I got my 3-wood. Where do I go before I go down to 4-iron or whatever? And it seemed like everybody was looking to hit it a little lower, a little flatter, It was, you know, all that. And now, all of a sudden, you know, we see on tour, all these tour players start putting in, like you said, 5-woods, 7-woods, even a couple 9-woods here and there. And basically, you know, finding a lot of success with it and you know, being able to hit it high, let it land soft, and hit it to some pins and some greens that they probably wouldn't be able to hit a 2-iron or a 3-iron or whatever into those greens. And now seeing all of us geeky, nerdy equipment amateurs run out and want to try a 7-wood and want to put it in the bag. And I'm fully I'm one of them. I've got a 7-wood in a bag over here. But it's interesting to see, and I think part of it too is the change in technology in fairway woods as they become more forgiving and easier to launch. And I mean, I know they all were before, but I think nowadays being a little lower spinning and, you know, the better players can control shots with them now. I think it does make it more appealing, and it's just interesting to see. You know, it's just a shift in equipment on tour and in the amateur ranks, which happens all the time, but this just happens to be a big one.
Who was it? Cam Smith that was talking about throwing the 7-wood in the bag because he actually liked it out of the rough.
Yeah.
He was saying I can use it out of the rough and still get the ball up in the air and kind of running and tumbling to the front of the green. I did do some testing maybe 4 months ago, something like that, 3-4 months ago, with an 11-wood.
What?
Yep. I went 11-wood versus 5-iron straight up on a GC quad, got some numbers. And I'm telling you, this 11-wood, it's not in my bag currently. I'm not going to lie. But I was hitting this thing like a pitching wedge. Like it was going straight up in the air and dead straight.
Yeah.
So if I was like playing a certain course, maybe the rough is up. Maybe I need some help on the par 5s, landing soft and the greens. I'd consider it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I'm not a huge fairway wood guy. Like, I don't know. To me, I'd rather just hit a driving iron. And off the tee, it never made much sense to me. I think I had a college coach one time. He was like, if you're going to lay up, lay up. If it's driver hole, then rip the driver confidently. You know what I mean? It's like, because if you hit the 3-wood and then you miss the fairway, you know, that hurts.
It's the worst.
And I don't know if I'm particularly a good fairway wood player, probably because I don't like hitting them, don't practice with them, don't even have them in my bag. So...
Yeah,
it hasn't really changed. Like seeing what's going out on tour, it's made me more willing to do like testing, but I haven't been able to commit. But I do suggest to amateurs, really whoever it is, like give them a shot.
Yeah, because
you really might like them. And technology has changed so much. I think it's like more of a viable option than ever.
Yeah. I'm excited to get this 7-wood out on play on the courses that I know I play, and those shots where I would have hit hybrid. It'll be really interesting to see the difference with the 7-wood. But like you said, I mean, the thing just goes straight in the air, it comes straight down, and it goes, for me, it's like 200 and whatever yards. I mean, it's like...
So like 190?
Yeah, like one... It's like 210, I think, something like that.
It's like Dustin's 8-iron.
Yeah. Well, pretty much. Yeah, pretty.
All right, so let's move off of high lofted fairways. Give them a try though, for real.
Yeah.
Number 8, another Knudsen special submission and a little bit of a plug here.
Yeah,
a Golf WRX best of. Hit us with it.
Yeah, I mean the best driver. I mean, I know every website has their best list, and everybody does it their own way and all that, and that's cool. And but best driver 2022, I think is cool. And honestly, how we do it different. Talking to a bunch of fitters all over the country and just seeing what is, what's being fit. Like, what are they fitting people into? What's successful? Why is it successful? And putting the list together. And I think it's a cool way to do it. I mean, other places publish a ton of data, and here's some launch monitor numbers and all that stuff. And that's great. But, in terms of, I think we all know there's no perfect best list. The only perfect best list is when you go get fit and your fitter hands you a sheet and says, here's number 1, 2, and 3. That is the only perfect list that exists. And if you can't, if we can't fit every single golfer in the country, we got to do it a different way. But I just like talking to the fitters. It's really interesting getting their thoughts on a lot of these clubs and why they like, why they like seeing them in people's hands and, what they excel at, some things that they're not as great at. But I think just overall, just an interesting article that, gives a little maybe slightly different perspective of all the drivers out there.
I think talking to fitters is probably the most valuable way to go about it because, one, they love it.
Yeah.
Like, all these fitters are super into equipment. They stay up to date on the technology, so they know the technology, and they're in the field. They're actually fitting with these guys. They see a bunch of different people hit the same driver, so they really know what's going on. But what was the takeaway from the article? Like, what's the best driver?
That's we don't break it down to just one. I mean, really, we've got a list. So we don't really. I mean, we technically don't have a number one. I mean, it's just a.
Boo.
I know, man. There is percentages, and I don't remember. There is behind the scenes percentages. I'm trying to which. Oh man.
Well, what was your takeaway? Let's not paint you into a box here. What were some of your takeaways? Like any surprises? Anything stick out?
There were a couple surprises. I mean, it was really interesting to see, in the driver's side, Zexio do really well. I mean, granted, it didn't do well for like the high club head speed guys, but for people who needed loft and needed help hitting it higher and all that, how many people raved about Zexio? And they said, like their design being super lightweight was really, really good. A couple guys touched on, like the TaylorMade Stealth and how like low heel shots are really good. They carry a ton of ball speed. They control the spin well. I mean, just little insights like that you'd get from these guys. And again, there's some fitters who, when you talk to them, it sounds like they pretty much only fit low handicap type players. And then there's other ones who, we fit everybody. We'll have somebody come in who's scratched, somebody comes in who's a beginner. And it's just interesting to see some of these clubs and also what drivers kind of worked for different players, because some of them were in the list multiple times. And like a Ping G425 Max, like that's going to hit a guy who's a 5 handicap, and it can hit a guy who's a 25 handicap. Like they could both find success with it, and it's just, like I said, there's little details like that, and these fitters all over the country, they all have their own opinions, and it was pretty cool, just like you said, talking to them and getting a feel for what they liked and what worked for them.
Well said.
So it
Very
was
well said.
But
that Zexio is one of those drivers where I recommend to, like, I don't know, someone like my dad. No offense, Dad. Someone who's like, a little bit older, looking for some more speed.
Yeah.
I think those drivers are very light, and I think they just produce like more speed, more height, and I think it allows guys to like get a little bit of that speed back, and they're also very forgiving. So.
Yeah,
keep the ball in front of you and hit it high and far. I mean, that's
the other interesting thing
goal.
about that driver too is a couple guys mentioned that they were like, the price point on Zexio is not cheap. Like, it's higher end Japanese kind of. It's built in like the Japanese market and all that is a little more expensive. But they said now that the big OEM drivers are now at $550 and $600, they're like, it's not a big price jump anymore. And a lot of these guys who would usually say, kind of gawk and say, I don't think so, it actually fits, budget-wise in with, a normal driver now. And it's pretty interesting. Little things like that I would have never thought of, you get to hear from someone who's doing, fittings every day. I mean, they're doing 5-8 fittings every single day. So they see those things, and it's harder for us to recognize those type of little nuances, but they pick them out, and and again, people are going to say, like, well, there's no data behind it. Like, these guys have tons of data. We're not asking for their data, but they know what they're fitting, what they're selling, and like I said, those little nuances of what's been working for certain type of players. So it's
maybe we should ask for that data.
Oh man,
what do you think about that?
The problem is, I don't think everybody would not everybody uses the same like launch monitor and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so we'd have to get it, and then we'd have to like recompile it to all fit in. I mean, it'd be cool, but man, that would be a lot of work.
All right, so let's get into number 7.
All right.
Enough of the plug talk. All right, we have Webb Simpson finally changes the driver after 4 years. He stuck with that TS3 forever. So he finally switched. He actually switched in Napa. He played the TS3 Thursday and Friday. Then he went to the new TSI3 Saturday, Sunday. But then he ended up switching back into the TS3, and then I guess he got hurt. And he was having some neck issues, I think. So for 2 months, he was kind of at home, and he finally had some time to like do testing. There's like a segment of guys out there who really they don't like doing the week-to-week testing. Like once they're kind of locked in, they're locked in until they have a bunch of time to make a change and get comfortable with it. And Webb's definitely one of those guys. And so he finally got that 2 months to work with the new TSI3 in the bag. Finally. Rest in peace to the TS3. I mean, he was one of like the few guys, because that TSI3, that's a serious driver. It's one of the Titleist, maybe best drivers ever. It produces speed, and it still comes with that workability that Titleist players really look for, and it's very forgiving. Got that new 425 ATI face, What do you got on this one?
Just breaking down all the tech, the sliding weight in the back. Yeah, it's interesting to me for like the Titleist players who hung on. Like I remember when TS came out, which TS was like I said, great. It was the best driver that I think that TaylorMade made at that point. And to see so many people hang on to 917s and even 915s and all that, to me, I thought clearly TS was way better. And to see Webb kind of hold on when so many other, it seemed like every Titleist staffer switched over to a TSI 2 or 3 immediately. Like right when they came out, it was like boom, they were in the bag.
No questions asked.
Almost everybody. I think like JT hung on for a real short time with his TS. Spieth kind of hung on for just a little bit, and then Webb was like the last holdout. And it was
2 years later.
Yeah, it's like, guys, everybody else has moved on. They found more ball speed. They've had more, and he just hung on. And I know like guys like that. They hit the center of the face, and their misses are not like our misses. So
I hope not, because that would be dangerous to the galleries.
Yeah. So having ball speed, out on like the very toe or the very heel, it doesn't concern them as much. But still, you got to think that, that little improvement, couple yards every round. That's just got to help. But it was good to finally see him, join this century.
But I asked Webb. Basically, I was like, what took so long? Like, what are you doing? He was like, well, the TSI series came out at a weird time because I was driving the ball really well, right? And then he was like, then I saw everyone switching.
Yep.
He's like, there might be something to it. So ultimately, his testing showed that he gained 2 to 3 miles per hour ball speed and kept with the same workability. I think he said he kind of struggled getting the spin up a little bit. He's a low ball hitter, low spin guy, and I think the TSI3 was slightly too low spinning for him at first, but they did a little magic in the head, worked that hosel, changed the shaft, and he's dialed in, and he seemed very happy with it.
Yeah. No, it's a good move for him, I think.
Welcome to the 2020s, Webb. Okay, so number 6, Tom Hoge. This was one of my favorite stories, actually, of the year.
It was a cool story.
It was just a cool story to like uncover, and the more layers I peeled. It was like peeling back an onion. It just got more and more interesting as you went along. But so Tom Hoge, he wins this year with a new putter. He had an Odyssey 2-ball, a super custom job.
Yep.
That Joe Toulon made for him. So, as the story goes, his caddy, Henry Diana Jr. So, Hoge was, he was misaligning. You know, he was really struggling with his setup. And Henry kind of really goes behind his back. And he goes to Toulon like, hey, we need to build him up a custom 2-ball here. Because he's not aligning it well. I think the 2-ball is going to be the fix. So, they present it to him. They make it. He wins.
Boom.
Now, I asked Henry about it. I was like, Henry, you know, what's the deal here? Like, how did you recommend him a 2-ball? Like, why? He'd never played a 2-ball. He's like, well, my dad built me a 2-ball in, like, the 80s, back when I was a player, before the 2-ball ever even existed.
So wild.
So Henry Diana Sr. basically invented the 2-ball, like, without patenting it. Like, he just built it for his son just to play golf with. Like, he basically invented the 2-ball. So it was like, why did Henry Diana Jr. suggest a 2-ball for Tom Hoge? Because his dad invented it.
It's so
it's like,
awesome.
What? It's like, what? Where did that come from, and how do I not know that story?
Dude, it's such a wild story.
Your take.
And, all right, I loved it. I thought it was so cool, and it's also just shows you like how good of a relationship those two guys have, you know, between caddy and player. Because what do you think would happen if Joe LaCava went to like Scottie, was like, yo, you know, Tiger's not aligning right. Can you get him a Phantom?
Alignment line.
Yeah, can we get him a Phantom with a line and da-da-da-da? And then he walked up to him on the range and was like, here you go, buddy. Like, you need to fix something. But it just goes to show you like how much trust, you know, Hoge has like in his caddy to know like, hey, I'm doing something wrong in my game. He noticed it, and here, you know, here's a fix and whatever. But you know, just like from that, the relationship to the fact that Diana's dad was making 2-balls out of his garage just randomly, and the fact that Joe Toulon was like, yeah, let's put a plumber's neck hosel on this thing. They like welded it up, got it built within like a week or something.
I think it only took it took like 2 to 3 weeks. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a crazy story from start to finish on that, and then to go out and win with it. I mean, just go out and win with it. I mean, that's just, I mean, you can't. I mean, you can't write a movie better than that. So
had to have been such a good feeling for his caddy.
Oh,
like that's a big risk, kind of like going behind someone's back to get a custom 1-of-1 putter designed for you. Like he wasn't even sponsored by Callaway. You know what I mean? Like, so he's going like outside of his realm right there, and big risk paid off in a big way.
Yeah, I mean,
let's hope he got more than 10% for that win. I think. I mean, bump that one up to 50.
Yeah, I mean,
that's huge.
I mean that. I mean, in terms of nerves, like that has to be like when you're in like 7th grade and you go to your first like dance. You got to go ask that girl to dance. Just the nerves of walking up with that putter. Like, here you go.
Seeing the reaction. A Winter Wonderland 7th grade dance reference?
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going there this episode, but somehow we got there.
We've all been there. Come on. We've all been hanging out with our boys, dancing to like, well, I mean, we're both slightly different generations in terms of music, but whatever your favorite jam was, and then they throw on a little like something slow. Everybody kind of scurries off to, you know, get their partner to dance with, and you're just kind of like looking around.
I'm sure in 7th grade we had like Nelly Hot in Here going.
Yeah, that was.
And it was getting hot in there. It was the Winter Wonderland, but it was getting hot.
Yeah, ours. Nelly wasn't quite around when I was in 7th grade. He was still a young guy running around St. Louis.
What did you have? That was like back when Frank Sinatra was popular.
No,
like when you were in 7th grade.
No, that was the grunge scene. That was a weird time.
Ooh.
You roll into the dance and everybody's wearing flannel shirts and baggy jeans, airwalks, Stussy hats. I mean, it was the glory days, man.
That's brutal.
Yeah, everybody's out there, dancing to Pearl Jam.
All right, let's change the subject, okay? Let's go on to number 5. Now, this is a Golf WRX Brian Knudsen special right here. Alan Morin.
Oh,
You want to take it from here on this one? I know you're fired up about this bag still.
Oh, it was probably one of the. I mean, it's one of the best what's in the bags that I think we probably ever put on the front page of Golf WRX. And for a guy that nobody knows, but he's an absolute legend in Southern Florida. The dude just does nothing but win PGA events. Or PGA
PGA section. Yeah. And he wins Player of the Year. It's the 11th time he won this year. And he played in the Honda Classic, just a little bit of background there.
Yeah, played in the Honda Classic. And to see his bag, because you would think a guy like that probably has with the latest whatever, whoever he is, working with, he's got the latest gear, all that. No, not even close. The dude's playing an RBZ driver, a Rocket Balls driver. Yes, the white and green one. The one that paint doesn't stay on the head. Like it rains and the paint comes off and chips.
Yeah.
And his is immaculate. Like it is perfect.
He's got to have a stockpile of them. That can't be the one he's played for years.
Playing just tons of old, 2012 hybrids. The old, just Rescue 12. He's got a bunch of old Matrix shafts. Matrix not even in business anymore. It's just that bag that you look at. And I think he plays 5 or 6 through pitching wedge. He doesn't even play. It's all hybrids. And he's one of those guys that, you'd look at that bag out on the course, some Muni, and you'd be like, oh, I'm taking some money from this boy. And then he cleans you out. Because his game is so strong.
How pissed would you be if you were a pro in that South Florida PGA section, and you go over and look at his bag because you're like, this guy's been winning everything. What's he got in there? He's got all the new stuff or what? And you look in the bag and it's like a Muni golfer setup. You're just like, oh no, I gotta reassess my life, man. I either gotta get out of this section or quit golf because I can't beat this dude. And he's playing with clubs from the 80s, basically.
Oh. He had, I think it was his 3-wood or something, which he had an old burner 3-wood, and he had a Matrix Radix shaft in it, and it's a baby blue, a Carolina blue with white lettering. And I remember when that shaft came out, it was not crazy because Matrix. If you don't remember Matrix had $1,000 shafts. And then they had the $350 to $400 shafts, and then they had some cheaper stuff, and then they had a really price point line. I think at that time was called the Cujo, but anyway, the Radix was right underneath the $400 stuff. And I remember everybody was super excited because it looked awesome. It was baby blue. Everybody was super geeked about it, and dude, this stuff spun like a top. It was so spinny. And this guy's rocking it like a fairway would, and he's evidently not worried about the spin too much because he's killing it in terms of his game. But yeah, just such an old bag, but the dude is just it shows you, when you got that type of game, it just doesn't matter. The guy's just that good.
I just love when guys keep clubs in the bag for, years and years and years and years. It shows that they're, comfortable with that club.
Yep.
And it's just, I don't care what else comes out. I hit this really well, and I know exactly how far it goes, and I know exactly what kind of shots I can hit with it. I know the trajectory, the spin. It's I don't need your new fancy technology. I'm sticking with this.
Yeah.
He's probably so stubborn about it, too. People definitely go up to him, and they're like, dude, have you tried a driver from this decade? Or, what's the deal? What are you doing? And he's like, you want to go play right now?
Yeah.
You want to settle this on the course? You want to keep talking?
Every year, for the first, anytime a new rep comes in to, whatever big OEM, must walk in, see that bag, and be like, yep, we're about to change all those clubs out because we've got brand new stuff.
And he's no, you're not.
Nope. I mean, but the other amazing thing, too, is that I don't think he's a huge hitter. I don't know much about his game other than the guy's a legend in terms of how often he wins.
So how do you know he's not a huge hitter?
I just don't think he is. Everything in that bag was stiff legs. There was nothing X, which, again, doesn't necessarily mean anything because I know a guy who probably swung at 130 miles an hour and played a regular flex shaft.
He needs a fitting.
He went to a totally another story. That guy went to a fitting, got fit into an X, couldn't hit the driver, went back to the reg, found it again.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, wild. But
another story for another day. But I do want to hear that story.
But how many tour pros, with the speed they carry and all that, would have cracked faces on half those clubs by now, and they'd be out of the bag? Because we talk about guys like Heinrich Stenson, who's got old stuff in the bag, and
Good point.
But these are even older, and he hasn't cracked faces and had to replace them. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he strikes me as a guy who maybe not the most speed, but he's never missed the center of the face.
No, never. And he never misses a fairway. That dude's always in the fairway. He's that boring golfer where he's always in the fairway, always on the green, and he's walking away with par birdie. Like, he's never just like blasting out of the woods, playing some big draw around some trees. Like, he's not doing that.
He's also probably the guy who, like, he'll drain maybe 3-4 20-footers in the round.
Oh,
and he'll be like, I never putt this well. And it's like, dude, I just played with you last week. You did the same thing. Like, what are you talking about?
That is so him. Like, oh, man, it must just be hot today. Like, no.
I don't know what I ate this morning.
Gosh, man.
Yeah, right, bud.
Yeah. Bottle it up.
All right, so let's get into to number 4 here. Big story. And it's like retroactively getting to be a bigger story here. And we have Scottie Scheffler signing with TaylorMade.
Yeah.
He wins twice, his first 2 wins on tour. He was an equipment free agent prior. Signs with TaylorMade. Pretty much out of nowhere. I mean, no one was really expecting that. Like, he had TaylorMade clubs in the bag. He had just switched into the Stealth in 2022, had been playing TaylorMade irons really throughout his entire professional career. He's always gone with the blades. He currently has the P7 TWs in there. But now he won again after TaylorMade signed him, and he's currently the number 1 player in the world.
Yep.
So TaylorMade ended up signing the number 1 player in the world unknowingly at the time. Like, they probably inked the deal months and months prior when he was maybe not even like a top 10 guy. So I don't know if they got like a good deal on that one or whether there were some like playing incentives and Scottie was just like waiting to turn it on for the deal to hit. He was like, oh, I get how much for being world number 1? All right, I'm gonna go make some birdies then.
That's so true though. I mean, because he was playing well, and you knew of him. I mean, it wasn't like he was a 1,000 ranked player in the world or anything like that. But like you said, I mean, to do that now, be number 1 and be 2 back at the Masters right now. I think he's 3
in a great
under.
spot. In a great spot.
spot
in the world number 1.
I mean, TaylorMade has to be just jumping for joy. Like, whoever signed that is asking for a raise right now, and they deserve it. But no, Scheffler, I mean, the guy's just been so good, man. And it's like he hits it far, but he's got a short game that he can get up and down from anywhere. Like, his whole game is just really good. There's nothing I don't think that you look at him and say, well, he's not great at that. But like that deal, I mean. And he held on to a few clubs. I mean, we talked about it a while back. Like, he held on to that Nike VR Pro 3 wood.
Rest in peace. Until he still a little sad about it.
Finally took it out from a Stealth. But, because the other thing, too, is I think most players, if you sign a deal like that, and again, we don't know the exact details of, like, how many clubs he has to have, if it's, 13 clubs or 12 or 10 or whatever. We don't know. But you always see a little bit of a transition period where the person doesn't play quite as well. Like, they're still getting used to the ball. They're still getting used to, wedge, whatever. They're just getting used to all the new stuff. And he just kept on rocking. Like, there's just no stop. Like, I think, like, him and really John Rahm are the only 2 that I can really think of who just, like, changed deals. And it was like, whatever. Just kept rolling.
I think whatever the deal is that Scottie signed, it was really smart. Because obviously it's not a 13-club deal. I don't think he plays TaylorMade wedges. He doesn't play the putter. So obviously those aren't like requirements. So for those clubs to be able to stick in the bag, like, he didn't have to change 14 clubs. You know what I mean? Like, he was already playing the irons. He didn't have to change into a new model. He didn't have to change the wedges and the putter. These are clubs he's super comfortable with. Yep. So I don't know whether that like brought the price down of the signing or really like how those deals work. I'm fascinated by how they do work. I'd like to get maybe someone from a company like anonymously will tell me, give me like an anonymous quote or something like that, because I really am interested in like the behind the scenes dealings with that. But either way, very, very smart deal. Super savvy.
For both.
Yeah, for both.
For both.
For both. Like, The TaylorMade guys must be in a conference room right now, just like looking at each other, smiling, like how
just high-fiving.
Like, how did we get this lucky?
Dude,
that was like the luckiest gear signing ever.
And
so good for them.
And like you said, it'd be really interesting to know like how many years is that deal? Because if he keeps say it's a short-term thing because he was a lower ranked player. Say it's a short 2-year thing or something like that, 3 years. Well, what if he keeps playing this well? And what if he's added a major and he's won 4 more times in the next 3-4 years? All of a sudden he comes out of that, and all of a sudden the price is going to go way up.
I know. What if he just turns into Brooks Koepka? What if he reels off 4?
Exactly. I mean, what if he's the next John Rahm and he wins and wins? I mean, he's doing. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he's not an old guy. He's young, and if he keeps playing like this, I mean, it'll be like I said. It'd be really interesting to know the details. Not so much that we can say, "Oh my gosh, the price is this," but just to know, how long is it for? How many clubs? How is that put together? When did it start? Did they start talking about this deal 6 months before it was signed? Or was it something that happened kind of fast because he was playing TaylorMade products? I mean, it would just be really interesting to know a lot of how that came about.
All right, so just a reminder, we are doing the top 10 gear stories of, I think, 2022 or maybe 2021, 22, something like that. But it's the top 10 gear stories recently, okay? We're getting into the top 3 here. Really, I'm just passing the time until we get to number 1. I'm very excited about talking about the top story. We haven't even talked about it yet. But we'll go with number 3 for now. The 48-inch driver ban.
Oh, man.
The 2 inches heard around the world.
What a just interesting thing. Because
you look upset about it. What's going on here? Do you have a 48-inch driver in the bag that you're pissed about?
I don't even have a driver that plays over 45 inches in my possession.
Okay, Ricky Fowler.
I'm sure. Hey, I think I'm maybe hair taller than Ricky Fowler, not by much. But no, it's one of those things that at the time it only affected 2 people, and that was it. Bryson and Phil were the only 2 ones.
And Bryson never even threw in a longer driver. Well, obviously in the long drive tour events he did, but not on tour. Yeah. He actually didn't end up making the switch.
No.
Yeah, I think Victor was kind of experimenting with it. Phil, I know DJ actually messed around with it a little bit.
I didn't know that.
He never threw it in the bag though.
But I mean, you have something that's there's such few people who even care to go down that road.
I know. And
really, I mean, if they put it in the bag, we all know that if you're swinging a 48-inch driver, I mean, those guys you're going to lose some control. You just flat out are.
Yep.
And yes, when you catch it just right, will it go a little farther? Sure. But the chances of you hitting it right and left into the trees and everything are greater as well. And I think it was one of those things that they made a big deal about this whole thing and, set the length and all that for a couple guys who were just talking about it. And it was like, it's not like all of a sudden everybody's going to be hitting at 425 and all. If this was a thing, somebody would have already done it a while ago and it would be rolling. And it was just, to me, one of the most useless things that was so controversial and all that. And you're just like, this affects really no one.
Yeah. I think they got a little nervous when Bryson, said super publicly right after he won the U.S. Open, hey, I'm going to start experimenting with 48-inch drivers. And it was like, wait a second. Is he just going to win every single tournament that he plays in from now on? And then guys started experimenting with it, and then they ended up finding out, and I did my own experimentation as well, ended up finding out that you might gain a little bit of ball speed when you hit the center of the face, but you ain't hitting the center of the face very often.
No.
And it just feels like, one of those unnecessary changes they make where guys were sitting around at the USGA like, hey, we got to do something. We got to show the people we care. So let's take down that maximum. Let's bring it on back down to 46 inches. And, people like us, me and you, we're sitting there like, that's not going to do anything.
No.
You gotta, if you're going to make a serious change, you got to talk about the golf ball.
Yep.
Or you have to reduce the maximum size of a driver head or something like that. A change that's actually going to be impactful. not the 0.00001% of golfers worldwide that are playing a 48-inch driver. But I mean, big story. You don't see a lot of rule changes based upon Golf equipment.
No,
I think some more might be coming up soon.
Yeah, but you don't see too many changes when a guy says, "I'm going to put this in play," and he never did.
Yeah, right. All right, so number 3 was unnecessary but impactful.
It was a big story, though.
Number 2, your boy, Adam Scott. Just in general, this is the gear story that keeps on giving, because every week we have a Adam Scott story. But what do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, Adam Scott, I mean, the perennial Titleist guy. I mean, he'd been with Titleist for I don't know how long.
20-plus years has to be.
I mean, it had to be, yeah. It wasn't 15. It was, right around. But, yeah, between 15 and 20. And for Titleist to basically say we no longer have a relationship with him.
He's still with, I think he's glove, ball, shoes.
And shoe.
Yeah.
But no full deal, no equipment deal on that side, anything like that. Very interesting to see. You just never thought he would ever leave. And then to, fast forward, I mean, he played Titleist stuff right out of the gate, like we all expected. And then to see such a big change for TaylorMade woods. I mean, he went stealth driver, stealth 3-wood. I mean, all of a sudden,
Adam Scott with a TaylorMade stealth driver.
I know.
Like,
it's
just
wild.
one of those, like, pinch yourself, is this real type things. Because we've never seen Adam Scott with anything other than Titleist. And it was just interesting timing for, like, that to go down. Basically, like, the surprise of Adam Scott not being a 14-club Titleist guy. Right after they make him the 681 custom AS irons.
Yeah.
like a month after.
With his initials on them and everything.
I know.
And then they literally let him go. But then again, like I said, I mean, it seems like when free agents go, too, the first thing they put in the bag after they leave, whoever they are, is a TaylorMade wood. Like, it seems like TaylorMade driver is the first thing those guys always put in the bag to try. And, yeah, he put stealth in, and I don't think he drove it well right out of the gate, but he drove it pretty decent today. But he still had the stealth in the bag, or the stealth plus in the bag. But it's just a weird thing to see him not full-blown title. It's just a weird thing to see. And I know it's happened before, like Davis Love III, some guys like that you always thought were going to be there. They were lifers. To see them now and other stuff it's just weird. But it's pretty cool to see, like, a guy like him who is so traditional. I mean, he wears 4 shades of brown today. He's such a traditional, such a low-key guy. To see what, now that he has the freedom to play whatever he wants, to see what goes in the bag. It's really interesting to see the choices he makes.
It really is. Like, a guy like that, and now he's getting into the gear testing side of things, so it's like just kind of the ultimate gear reality show right now. And I've been keeping my eye on him. And at the match play, we saw him with a Callaway Rogue ST driver.
I would
in the bag on like Monday, Tuesday, I think it was. It did not make the cut. He kept the TaylorMade stealth in, but it just shows you that he's willing to test, and he's probably trying everything. Like,
love it.
Shafts, heads, all sorts of different stuff, and I don't think he's ever going to change those irons.
Yeah, I don't think
so. Because those are clean, and those are the irons. Basically, they were built after the 680s that he had in the bag for 20-plus years.
I think the only thing he would change on those is maybe if he just found, kind of on his own testing, some, like, Japanese brand or something like that. That was the same, similar look and perform. I could see him maybe doing that, like a Mira set that comes out or something like that. I could see happening, but I don't think you'll ever see a Callaway MB or a Cobra MB or something like that. I don't think you're going to see that in his bag, but I could see some type of, like, obscure Japanese blade in the bag at some point.
Only if they, like, blueprinted his irons and matched the specs exactly, because that's such, like, a specific... I know, but it's such a specific shape.
I know, but
and it's really, like, kind of gone by the wayside. Like, that's not what irons, especially blade irons, look like right now. Like, it has a lot of offset.
Yeah,
and just a unique head shape in general. So I don't know if he's going to be looking to change those out anytime soon.
Hey, who knows?
And they're really cool. They're also just really cool.
Absolutely sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like blades. I would say I don't like blades. I don't care because I'm not good enough. But if, like, a set of those ever came to my door, I'd be playing blades. Because how would you not?
Well, if I had Adam Scott's swing, yeah.
Well,
and I didn't ever miss the center of the face.
Yeah, I'm playing those things.
All right, Knudsen, the time has come. We're on to number one, and it happens to be the most relevant story right now. Tiger Woods shows up to Augusta National to play in the 2022 Masters wearing FootJoy golf shoes. What do you got for us?
One, it is probably, I got to believe it is probably the story that anybody working at Nike and FootJoy thought just wouldn't matter. Doesn't matter. This isn't a big deal. Whatever. And it has basically broken the internet. It has broken the internet that he has showed up in a pair of FootJoy Premier Packard shoes. And he's worn the white and the black. So he's got two pairs at least. He's worn the white and the black, depending on his outfit this week. And he's wearing metal spikes in them. He's got actual metal spikes in them. And basically he was asked, and they said, in his media day, and they said, what's up with the shoes? And he basically said, he was looking for something that would help him walk these hills and be extremely stable and let him hit shots on these uneven lies. And this was the shoe that he found would work the best. And he did say that him and Nike are still working on creating something to fit his needs. It's just not available yet or ready yet. So, but yeah, for something as simple as a all white or an all black pair of golf shoes, the internet lost their minds. And to be honest,
I can't remember ever being this shocked.
Yeah.
About shoes in my life. Truly shocking.
Yes.
I mean, we all saw the Getty images pop up.
Yep.
On Monday, and it's wait, what?
Yeah. Those aren't Nikes.
I don't know if since 1996, I looked this up. He signed for $40 million in 1996, and since that moment, he's probably never worn anything other than Nike shoes.
Yeah.
In general.
I think you're right.
At the gym, at the golf course, whether he's at an event. He probably has Nike dress shoes.
Cole Haan.
For nice events.
Cole Haan, their own. You know what? I bet that Hall of Fame he's probably wearing a pair of Gucci, super nice, Ferragamos or something.
But they were a collab with Nike. They were
they were Air.
Nike times Ferragamo. Yeah.
But yeah. It's just amazing. I mean that. The shocking thing, and I think everybody, because there was a comment on Twitter I saw, a bunch of people saying, what's the big deal, what's the big deal? And the big deal is the fact that Nike has made him shoes to fit his needs all throughout his career. I mean, he went from traditional, real traditional or saddle style, classic type shoes into something that was a little more futuristic, and then it went to the Tiger Woods Freeze, that first Tiger Woods shoe that was super flexible, had the free sole because he wanted that, and then it moved back into stiff. They've evolved with his swing, his injuries, all that, and it's just amazing that after he played in the PNC or said, "Hey, I'm going to play in the PNC," and Nike knew from then, okay, there's going to be some golf coming, that they weren't on top of having him some prototype shoes of whatever. Whether it was a clone of the FootJoy, whatever, that Nike, this billion-dollar company, couldn't prototype him up some shoes in a month or a couple weeks is absolutely shocking. Did somebody just drop the ball and nobody called Tiger? Did he not tell them, hey, I'm going to start playing again? I want to know that dynamic of what happened, because there's no way that you could tell me that Nike couldn't put together a shoe for him in a month. There's no way. You can't tell me that.
That conversation was probably so heated.
Oh.
Between Tiger and Nike.
Dude.
He's like, listen, if you guys aren't going to make me a shoe, I'm going to go wear FootJoys at the Masters.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you're not.
And he just did it.
And then he did it. They've probably been nonstop getting on the phone with his agent, emailing Tiger, sending him prototype after prototype after prototype after prototype. And he's just like, nope. I'm going with FootJoys on the biggest stage where he probably has the most eyeballs on him at this Masters, maybe ever.
Yeah.
This might be the most watched, sporting event in years. Tiger Woods is playing at the 2022 Masters after, no one thought he was going to walk again.
No.
And so we're all tuned in to see what's going to happen. And he struts out there in FootJoy golf shoes. And the reason it's a big deal to me is that, I mean, Tiger really, like, changed the landscape of golf shoes in general. Like, he made them cool. He made them athletic. Like, I know he wasn't designing the shoes, but, you know, we all give Tiger that credit for kind of changing the landscape and really dictating, like, what a lot of guys wear out there today.
Yeah.
You know, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, they're all wearing that saddle style, super classic golf shoe. And now it's like okay to go out there in something futuristic and be sneakers.
Yeah.
And, like, you kind of feel like an athlete. Like, the Nike Tiger Woods shoe collection is iconic. And
100%.
It's a lot like Michael Jordan strutting out, like, in Game 7 of the finals wearing freaking Adidas.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what it's like. And for people who are saying, like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, it doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, it does. I mean, it does.
It 100% does. I mean, yeah, imagine Jordan coming back from his retirement, putting on the 45 jersey and a pair of, Kobe Adidas. Like, what? Like, but like, if somebody at Nike, I got to believe that whoever at Nike deals with Tiger lost their job. Like, this thing just.
Well, how much did they pay Tiger a year right now? Like, he signed for $40 million in '96. I was looking this up. 2001. Well, reportedly, this is all allegedly. I guess, like, you know, they didn't publicize this stuff, but reportedly 2001 he signed for $100 million for 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, at this point in his career, it's got to be even higher than that.
Oh. I mean,
like, he must be making, I don't know, maybe he signed $500 million for 5 years,
plus
for 10 years,
and
they're paying him so much money, and he wears FootJoys at the Masters. What?
Yeah, and you gotta think that, like, he probably, I mean, his name is on the shirts. Like, he wears Tiger Woods shirts, so he's got to be, much like Jordan, probably getting some small royalty off everything sold with his little logo on it.
Yeah.
He's got to be making an absolute killing, and that's the thing. Like, Nike created a golf division because of him.
Yep.
Like, they made some shoes, they made a couple polos. Okay,
wasn't nobody wearing them back then?
Nobody cared.
Like, when it was Azinger and, like, Duval,
I mean,
it's like
nobody cared.
They're cool, but we don't care. Like, Nike's not a golf company, and then immediately he tees it up as a professional wearing Nike stuff. Game over.
Game over. I mean, he created that whole division of Nike, which, yes, it's not as big as basketball, and yes, it's probably not as big as soccer, but it's legit. Like, it's a legitimate chunk of business. And to have that flagship person, I mean, arguably, other than Jordan, the most recognizable person, athlete that they have, to just not wear what they're known. I mean, they're known for clothing, but they were a shoe company, and to not wear the shoes is huge.
Absolutely savage boss move by Tiger Woods.
Oh, do you think he like got with his lawyer to like go over the contract to make sure he could do it before?
I don't even think he did that. He was just
care.
like, "Yo, I'm not wearing them." So, like, I'm gonna go try to play in the Masters. Like, I shouldn't even be walking, and you guys aren't giving me what I need, so I'm gonna go wear FootJoys.
I mean, that's just
and. To your point, what you were saying before, Nike also created a new look of golfer. And you kind of look at the guys out there right now, like Jason Day, Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy. What are they wearing? How do they look? Like, they kind of look like Tiger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What they're wearing, like the way their shirts are fitting, the shoes they wear. Obviously, they actually do wear Nike, so that's part of it. But, just like kind of more of that athletic, like, cool gear.
I mean,
no one would be doing that if it wasn't for Tiger Woods.
No, they wouldn't. And like you said with the shoes, like, he did create like that. I remember that first like free model. I can't remember what they called it, like the TW13 or whatever, because whenever it came out. And when that came out, like, that all of a sudden allowed, it was like, you can now wear a sports shoe on the PGA Tour, and it was just
you can like wear whatever you want now. Like, you look at Harold Varner or Pat Perez, like, they're literally rocking Jordan shoes, and I don't think that happens if Tiger doesn't like change the landscape of shoes and make it cool and also make it acceptable. You know,
I agree 100%. I mean, that shoe got, I think, a lot of young people who would never wear a white and black classic saddle shoe out on the golf course, would just not wear it. They would wear a Tiger Woods TW13, or again, whatever it was called, TW12, whatever the first one was. They would wear that those, and then those paved way into like, let's make a slightly more sporty version. And now, now the young people out there who golf wouldn't be cool, but now you have Jordan retro golf shoes, you have limited editions, you got cool shirts, you got all those young kids love that stuff. And had Tiger not been around, I don't think that happens. I think people would still be wearing khakis and a navy polo, and a pretty classic shoe to this day. Like, I don't think it changed, or maybe it slowly does, but it wouldn't change near as fast.
So you have a product pitch for FootJoy, right? We were talking about this off air before the podcast, and you have like the best idea I've ever heard. So I don't want to even say it because I don't want to take credit for it. So I'll let you talk about this design. And I need a pair, so hopefully FootJoy's listening.
Listen, I'm not looking for a ton on this. I mean, maybe just a little piece. I got a little girl to put through college eventually, so maybe just a little piece. Not looking really great, but they should take that. So it's the FootJoy Premier Packard is what Tiger's wearing. And what they need to do is literally make a white pair and a black pair, just like he's wearing, and just put like a tiny little trim of like a tiger stripe, orange and black. Like maybe
that's all you need. Just the smallest little sliver of pop.
In like the back heel, there's a little plastic kind of piece. Make that just kind of tiger stripe, and then just name it the Cat, like the limited edition, the Cat, and you sell 250 pairs of each color or something like that, or you do a 2-pack, like a double pack for like $600. You get a custom little bag, and you don't have to call it. You don't have to call the Tiger. You just call it the Cat.
And two different lace options.
Yep.
You have either tiger stripe or tiger stripe laces, or azalea pink.
Ooh, it'd be fire. Fire.
so fire.
Done. I mean, it would sell out instantly if you did like the double pack, and it cost $500, and it came with like a cool little bow, whatever. And say you only made 250, 500 of them, gone instantly.
I don't think that would be illegal because you're not using like name or likeness. Like it's not illegal to put a tiger stripe on a shoe. I mean, Nike would be so mad.
They'd sue. I mean, they'd flat out sue.
Well, they'd want to.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I'm miles away from that.
I wouldn't think they have grounds to stand on. Like, there's nothing illegal about a tiger stripe.
What if they just,
And Nike's never even done that. They've never done tiger stripes, have they?
What if they just say, hey, you know what? We love the zoo, and tigers happen to be our favorite animal, so we put a little on.
Yeah, they just team up with like they partner with like the San Diego Zoo, or something like that to kind of work around it.
Oh, and they just call them like the Cats. Oh. And then part of the proceeds just go to like there, and then they're like, "Hey, look, we did it as a dude."
You got to get on Photoshop and
do it up.
We got to make some of these prototypes, dude. Man. I need those shoes,
dude. I mean, like I said, how would they not sell every pair that they made? I mean, they'd be gone.
They would
be so amazing, and it would just be such a slap in the face.
The ultimate. So that was the top story, and it probably will be for the next 20 years, and it's probably the biggest story of the last 25, and I'm not even kidding.
No, and it's honestly,
I think this was the most shocking, unbelievable thing that I've seen like in golf.
And what is everybody going to do tomorrow morning when the Masters comes on?
Buy FootJoys.
Well, no, but what are they going to do? You're going to look and see what shoes Tiger wearing, and you know what he's going to be wearing, but you're going to look. And you're going to want to know. And you're going to look online and on social, and you're going to see, is he wearing the white pair, the black pair? Maybe he's got a brown. I mean, who knows? You're going to look and see what he's got because you just want to know.
What if he shows up tomorrow with the tiger stripe prototype FootJoy? Are you going to sue FootJoy?
Probably. I mean, I have no money.
We're on the record. Yeah, we're on the record right now.
I have no money to sue them, but I will definitely try to. I mean, at worst, just give me a free pair. Like, give me a couple pairs, me and Tursky. Like,
yeah, right. A little something for the effort
for the boys. How about that? Well, you brought up a great point, actually, and I know we're well beyond what we should be talking about this. What if he shows up with like a pair of custom and they have like his kid's initials etched like on the heel, like a custom pair, like he ordered online, like a pair of My Joys.
Oh my!
Like, what if he shows up with that? Like, it's got like, on the bag, it's got like a little like, CW for Charlie and a little like SW for, like, which just means he knew he was playing in these things for like 3 weeks.
That's actually another good point that you just brought up there. How did Tiger get the FootJoys?
Yeah.
Did he like walk into Golfsmith and did he buy them?
Like, how does that call go? Like, because there's a guy on tour, right?
Hey, it's Tiger here. I need some FootJoys. Yeah, right. Who's pranking my phone?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Way. Like, even the guy who's like out on tour in the tour truck, who's like the FootJoy guy.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Steiny. What's up, man? It's Tiger's agent. We'd love to get a couple pairs of FootJoy shoes. Yeah, hang up.
Yeah, I've heard this prank call before.
Exactly.
Immediate hang up. So it's like, he has to go to like PGA Tour Superstore because he can't get the hookup on the shoes because no one believes him.
He just went out and bought them. He like went in there and like had to pull his own credit card out. And the guy
first time Tiger's ever had to pay for golf equipment in his entire life.
And the guy like looks at him like, this looks like Tiger Woods, but there's no way he's in PGA Superstore buying FootJoy shoes. And then he like looks at the credit card. He's like, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh my God! Well, that was our top 10 list.
Yeah,
we did a little David Letterman action.
Good list.
I hope the people enjoyed it. I hope they made it all the way to number 1, so they could hear us pop off about FootJoy golf shoes. It's still unbelievable to me.
Unreal. I mean, absolutely unreal.
But, Knudsen, happy Masters Week. I hope your pick, Cam Smith, wins it, because that was really going to be my original pick, but I ended up picking Scottie Scheffler. So if one of those two could win,
that'd be awesome.
Like geniuses.
Be awesome.
Like geniuses.
But
so enjoy it out there, man. Nothing like Masters Week. Have some fun.
Best week of the year.
All right, guys. That was two guys talking golf. The Masters / top 10 / Tiger wearing FootJoys edition. I'll see you guys next week.